Welcome everyone to another live stream. We are back to open source work here, your YouTube membership, patronage, GitHub sponsorship and all the other amazing GoFundMe and OnlyFans at work here. Others are happy to take away, delete old code. We are happy to support, test, illustration purposes only, old amazing vintage retro hardware and new code and stuff. Case in point, the xorg server deleting internal ramdac support, and with that having rendered like all or most of the vintage and retro drivers, even for the Sun, Spark Station and stuff. And yes, nobody except us and other vintage and retro lovers and fans cares. I actually did that last year ago, previous video there. Only I had this in my local repository that of course totally not clean and stuff. So basically only today I finally published that, because even that took me over an hour before this live stream. The usual stuff, still not the greatest fan of Git and so on. Because of course I had to delete, because with preserving just publishing this dozen of files here is not the greatest achievement of all times, but I wanted to preserve the history. So that was quite some excessive Googling of how to actually operate Git. So that is preserving with, how was this even, like with some big, what was it, keep. So yeah, some huge Git filter branch, force index filter, you can Google that. So this is, because it previously was in this xorg server, that is of course decades of history, and I didn't want to have hundreds of megabytes, so an hour of extra work of actually GitHub filtering that history and making sure we have I didn't review if it's like super totally complete, but in my opinion, that is of course a super amazing nice thing of like doing it the super nice, perfect way to preserve the history and stuff. Like if you wanted to git blame and log and stuff. So yeah, I spared you 1 to 2 hours of GitHub Googling and so on. So yeah, so this is now online here in GitHub, as people love Git and GitHub and lab and stuff so much. So that is now here along our repositories, because the main reason, so the reason I did this too late is because the recurring theme, I'm too busy maintaining everything between Alpha and Itanium and RISC-V, and also have some other stuff to do, right? Feed the family and so on. So finally I've done that. It's super long overdue, and the major reason, actually not only the major reason your membership, YouTube subscription, Patreon and stuff, but also we increasingly, obviously we want to be more successful with our increasingly amazing Linux distribution, and stuff needs to work, right? I more and more realize the more people, obviously with all our shameless YouTube self-promotion here, day and night, more and more people want to try one of the best Linux distributions out, and obviously it is not very good PR if stuff doesn't build, right? So obviously people try to build some stuff with T2, and then it's like, yeah, more some random X driver, like they don't need it, but it stops their build, because on my side, of course it builds, because I had those private files here and now they are public. Also later this year, so this is, I will increasingly, I mean obviously you got the theme here, right, and my whining of all the peak bugs and broken stuff and not amazing stuff. I said it before, I will increasingly continue with my own code, so we will, illustration purposes only, this is a Firewire card that I need for my PA-RISC workstation. The usual stuff in the office, but other vintage and retro VGA cards, so we will continue with low-level code for our own microkernel and have 3D demos. Like later this year we will have like multi-server microkernel 3D demos running at least on vintage stuff, right? Not AMD this year, but some illustration purposes only, drafting. But anyway, so yeah, amazing stuff to come, including RISC-V, not RISC-V, PA-RISC and other Unix workstations. So, so because the problem is that I have that here locally, and I actually wonder, did I get just too much git. Yeah, so I had this here locally, and then let's, where do we move that for a second? Let's maybe, so I don't want to have the same file name, not that my build accidentally works, like maybe backup, and then let's modify that here. So previously, because this download obviously wasn't there, and now it is there. That is now, let's download. By the way, I probably does this. Okay, we have this is okay. We actually never use this button. What does that do? Choose a tag. Okay, amazing. This title would be the same, but I guess publish. Let's see what happens. Can you, by the way, edit that? Okay, you can of course edit that. Okay, also amazing. And as you see, I'm today in super amazing mood. So archive. So this is directly text. So this doesn't give us much, but whatever. Increasingly getting the hang of Git and GitHub and stuff. 010 tar gset, and then all this stuff to, what was the short URL? This one? Oh wait, we need one more thing. This was a hack. This was a hack, and we still need that. So this GitHub thing will probably not build. We need some WL undefined stuff. It's like, yeah, it will build in our tutu package if you know how to YOLO that into Meso. If what is the best way, this are symbols in the Xorg server. So not doing that, or maybe the best thing would be linking that with. I don't know. Anyway, as long as it actually did I? We probably should test that. I mean, there's so much amazing stuff to come. The more you share, like, and subscribe. I've even from last year, I have so much stuff prepared here on my YouTube archive things, including outstanding vintage VGA cards, cheap from eBay, PA risk, and other Unix workstation systems, newly purchased and donated, and upgrades and stuff. Because theoretically we obviously should also test that. I'm not even sure if I really tested that, or maybe the TG3, previous video, Sun TG3. Anyway, so download. Do we have, okay, we don't have that here in the history. So we can add there. Okay, that was guessing the download all of our own packages, maybe just archive. Don't do that for a week and already forget. Yeah, I also should have run this in Tmux for you. So for you, that you see that better. So what was the, okay, this is actually, by the way, I checked one of those. This, from time to time, I, like today, the win-win, I noticed some stuff that's not perfect. And I remember one of those, maybe this Xarchive or maybe another one, because so this URL is like some override URL thing. That's very rare in T2. And one of those, maybe that one, I tried some months ago to make this archive, whatever. But I got, in one of those, maybe that one, I got a GitHub error message of that, like if we do that the normal way, like this one here, just archive something, then that gave me a not canonical or whatever error message. So whatever it's going on there between maybe source table versus automated tech table, but just like refs text. So what do we have there? We just have our DRM info archive that. Oh no, we don't have the history. And so the usual thing, we do this here, and of course, to hang with the community, right? Ask me anything, T2 support. And just to document how much time all this stuff takes, right? 1 hour, like if you, sure, I could have YOLO'd that without history, 10 minutes later. But yeah, 1 hour plus git fight. So archive, DRM, archive, and then we have archive here. Why does this not blend? All right, I think, did I just delete that? We need that, don't we? Not sure what I was thinking there. Okay, so then let's see, do I have builds here? Because I lost overview of all my systems. I not, yeah, next thing, previous videos, I mentioned this a couple of times, I also need some like company and data center wide distributed storage area network next, because shuffling stuff around the SCP rsync and different workstation and server things does totally not scale anymore in 2023. So let's see what kind of builds we have here to test this with. Maybe if we're lucky we can RISC-V 64. So the difference then is that this is a proper tarball coming from some proper source control system. Also this doesn't build because cross-build not so far. So we have some, I could also just build it into the system. Okay, that built. Let's check that this really built something appropriately. Another amazing thing I could actually do, if I had too much time, I would probably not do that soon, would be for the RISC-V unmatched. It annoys me a little bit that if we switch that on, actually I could also, illustration purposes. My unmatched RISC-V cube system build video coming the next days live on my Moment channel. It annoys me a little bit that you don't have graphic posts there, right? Probably on no, except maybe the new Star5 board, because all those VGA cards don't have RISC-V postcode, right? You could probably theoretically post those using x86 emulation. That would be a super cool project if we would have had too much time, but for such kind of stuff, like subscribe, Patreon, GoFundMe and stuff, like repurposing one of those x86 and like in10 x86 emulation stuff of Xserver and putting that into the boot code, theoretically for early, like, yeah, fragile stuff, like optionally to be enabled, like, yeah, but probably I should do that best for my microkernel, not some random RISC-V board. Just some brainstorming ideas of stuff we could have and would be amazing, but it would really be cool if in the meantime, I mean, maybe like if we leave in the comments below, if there is some universal reusable x86 emulation postcode thing for open firmware, BIOSes, somewhere, maybe, but yeah. And yes, I'm aware that is glitchy and stuff, but I mean, theoretically, it should probably be possible to make bulletproof, famous last words. And I'm aware that I/O space emulation, like I/O ports and mapping, getting that to work, and plus, of course, old-fashioned BIOS, ROM versus option ROM versus UEFI handling, but yeah, details and complexities. So, logs, libxramdac, and does this look like it has a chance to work? Compiling some files. So yeah, again, this is for shared, previously external IBM TI BT RAMDex. I would hope. I mean, yeah, we could check which. Maybe we should. Which other driver previously used that? There should be a handful, even on a x86 build. What have I done there? More ADM, x86. Does this not build cache? What do I miss here? 20. This is also the wrong. Too many builds here. So yeah, S3 even, and so on. So let's try this glint one. Or actually, have I implemented? I wonder if that works, but maybe it doesn't. Builds the last one. Okay, that does not. I mean, to do makes it better. Of course, that is only a build test, right? It can still have symbols, undefined symbols, and undefined missing symbols. But that is for another day. To be fair, as we're professionals, let's expand our to-do, because nothing like expanding your to-do faster than you can work on it. Test libxramdac utilizing vintage xorg driver and maybe make build target support my job specs like good idea. So yeah, then finally something that should work for you playing along at home. libxramdac, your GoFundMe and patronage hard at work. Will download from GitHub or whatever. So yeah, other people just delete. I'm really even the Linux kernels. They now they discuss deleting a lot of PCMCA stuff, which I just illustration purpose. I just also auction some amazing stuff. PCMCA and like. Just when you finally have some PCMA stuff that you never really needed for decades, Linux kernel people deleted. But fear no more, of course, we will support it in our microkernel. Eventually, sooner or later. Probably in decades, our right now vaporware microkernel will support more than the Linux kernel. Anyway, so yeah, that is that. And as you see, I increasingly listen to all our Discord reports of stuff not building for users, and other stuff I of course have seen myself. So usually when I accept this Xramdac of course built for me because I had the sources, but other stuff here reported, I'm of course at times probably a TG so we can actually fix. So yeah, as you see, we in our increasingly small home office, business, enterprise, and embedded ready Linux distribution, we take all user support much more seriously than other distributions. Other stuff I have of course seen, maybe not. Yeah, right. So yeah, PyCache. This is the stuff that also annoys me, that I don't find super amazing in this infrastructure, that some scripting languages, or dynamic scripting languages, update their cache files there, run at will, which is super annoying because we track all those sandbox file modifications. So our build system will, like, if you update something or even Python or whatever, and then Python decides, hey, we rebuild some cache files for you, because they were previously freshly installed or whatever, then you get the shared file conflicts here. So what even was it? So this was shared. I'm probably, is there any Python version? Debs non-Python maybe? Okay, I don't really want to do that because it might break my liquid status stuff here. I hate when that breaks. yeah, I've seen that myself, but not like every day. We have various filters, so probably it is the easiest to just, this is our file list. So this is right. I created file outside. Wait a second. Oh, this is even outside based here. Welcome everyone. Yeah, maybe that is best done when I can reproduce it. Where did I think recently? Ah, darn, this is even, okay, this is actually even more super annoying. Because this is for a target build. So yeah, this is stage 2 cross build, 2 X11 shared mem info. That is even super tricky because it is, I mean, our build system is rightfully complaining, hey, this is our new Xserver Destier sandbox, and like this tools, right, create build artifacts there in your running host system. This is even more annoying than it, yeah, than just out of package shared files. Gosh, the problem is, do we have other filters? Even I would need to research that, so maybe that's not the best thing for this live stream. Maybe we end it here then. But yeah, the only constant is change and regressions, and even at us 20 years later, still details. Also, to be fair, it happens no more than previously. Like for a decade, it wasn't a problem because like a decade ago, not so much stuff was written in Python, and now everything and the kitchen thing is implementing stuff in Python, and like nowadays all the stuff installs Python libraries and stuff, and then it's constantly the cache rebuilds and whatnot. So yeah, I maybe we even need to add there some new filter thing. Also, I remember a year ago I added some kind of new filter, but maybe that was for something else. Yeah, I researched it another day, but I need to check the to-do, and where even was, so I need to check. So this is where did I usually build on the last, because that is no, yeah, this is not where we built previously the most on. Yeah, so yeah, thanks for that, but I know workarounds are possible. So a common workaround for this is like just run Python with something that generates this, rebuilds this cache. But the right solution would be to ignore this. So like ignore certain kind of things that could happen. Yeah, I mean, another thing would be to have a strict Python virtual environment thing, and like even more make sure that only our own bootstrap Python stuff runs. This is also tricky and error prone stuff, like, yeah. I basically need to check our to-do and work systematically on the real stuff we need to fix to finally release. There were some showstoppers. This is one of the more important things. So because the problem with that is I probably should do it sooner. So that is kind of a new feature, but even I forget all the partitioning hacks and details for all the architectures, like Sun for U versus V, PA risk, and all the other. And this font thing this is annoying. This is like, it is a bad first impression when like there is some strange sans serif, no, monospaces. Why do I? Some strange monospace matching stuff, maybe regression going on. I think we have done that actually. So that is like, I mean, I would see, I tested that, so actually we can probably delete that. I will probably find out eventually if there is still a bug, but I guess that this would be nice. It's not the most This is test suite. All right, there was actually G5, but what was? Probably quality assurance test boot, real G5. There might be some, a user reported that wouldn't boot. Although it, like, or actually if we wanted to be super crazy, then P3 obviously. But that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this libxramdac library. It is crazy that only we, so like not only if you Google that, obviously we are the only one who've done that. If you Google for that, it's like T2, YouTube, our channel, and that's it, right? All the other 1,957 new subscriptions basically don't care about vintage hardware anymore. But we of course do, and we will have soon low-level fun. And for the microkernel, one last teaser of my upcoming vaporware microkernel stuff. I want like near zero code duplication, right? So in the x86 world, we have BIOS and option ROM posting for VGA, then some glue stuff and frame buffer and redrawing in the bootloader potentially, or even the BIOS, then bootloader. Then Linux kernel frame buffer versus like so much code duplication, right? Then vintage xorg, which even people run in production today, and not everyone runs Wayland. And so people, even on other machines, run modular xorg driver things for the hardware. And so then we have user space, components, and kernel space, which of course also, and ironically, user space components these days more often deleted than kernel space. I guess there is more kernel space stuff that's not even supported. And yeah, Mesa legacy, right? It's long gone. And my goal would be like one graphic, like multi-server component thing, and like one graphic driver and stack for all of like one multi-server component, and that's it, and not like 3 different parts plus BIOS and firmware. But that's for another day. I hope you enjoyed this, learned something. Give it a thumbs up if you have maybe Patreon, GitHub sponsor, or YouTube membership to support all this stuff. And have a good day night, and I hope to see you soon for all the next fun stuff to come. Hey, 0 frames, yay.